Okay, let me bring some thought into today's volatile meeting. And, I think the most interesting part of today's meeting was the secrecy involved in who being the Toastmaster. Oh. I didn't know. I was told it's Santa, and I was till the last minute I was wondering how the Santa is going to introduce. I know I need to. Fortunately, there was a number which was added to the meeting group. And then I tried all my true colors and all kind of R&D. I could not find out.
New SIM card. Let's see a new SIM card.
New SIM card. I was showing some goods carrier, some transport service. I was trying to figure out.
Santa's transport service on
It
you.
was well done. I think I kudos to the committee for bringing out its wonderful thinking. So with that note, the meeting started today. And of course, when the meeting started, I knew who the Santa was, and it was interesting that the Santa came. Let's talk about, this was prior to the meeting starting. And rightfully, thankfully, the meeting started right on dot, 6:30. I was here by 6. I was trying to figure it out. Our Sergeant Arms was trying to keep certain things, and unfortunately, I went and asked him, do you need any help? And the general evaluator ended up doing some things along the Sergeant Arms instead of noting down. But anyway, that was the teamwork it's all about. And thanks to Simran, I saw her writing all this, what she has done. Ultimately, as a team, Family Toastmasters is delivering, and right on dot, we started the meeting. Kudos to our Sergeant Arms. Puneet, as usual, he has his flair of speaking. He has got the smooth talking skills. So he took the audience and captivated them rightfully. My suggestion to Puneet going forward, or any Sergeant Arms, is you need to do the basic duties. Come here and, if the guests have to come in front, do it before the meeting starts, not after the meeting starts. And then you need to give instructions what they have to do, switch off the mobile phones. This has to be done. But Puneet was into the speech, and I was wondering whether the President is going to the second spot, because that's the quality of speech whenever he comes and delivers. Good speech, Puneet. Well done. You have been doing a perfect job, meeting after meeting, and today is the last meeting. And for doing that job every week, what do we give Puneet? Incidentally, Puneet, you took 4 minutes. Actually, you are allotted 2 minutes. So 2 minutes of President was taken away. Now, coming back to the President, and what can I say about our dear President Melvin? The fact that 5 out of 70 members, his existing committee members, stood for elections speaks volume of his leadership. 5 out of 7 realize that they can also again stand for elections. That's well done. That's a benchmark for me when a leader grooms the leaders to become bigger leaders. So well done, President. You came on stage. You rightfully talked about the theme and the Christmas and what the values of Christmas, being humble and how you can rise. That was well understood by us. And you also appreciated the word of the day maker, Rajesh. That was well done. I mean, certain things President does which normally I never used to do as a President. So that is well done. My word of advice to President, because you're going to be the next term, I thought you are a little bit slow in your speech rate. You need to be a little faster and bring up the voice modulations. You have to try. You're good, but if you bring a little bit of voice modulation up and down, probably it will help all of us. So that being said, President, you have done a wonderful job for this last 6 months. I wish that you will do a greater job for the next 6 months. Please give the President a big round of applause. Then we had Toastmasters coming in. I will talk about the Toastmaster later. The first speech was given by Toastmaster Simran Chopra, and she is being evaluated by Toastmaster Vivek Vijay. I request Vivek to come over here and give your evaluation on Simran Chopra.
Toastmasters and welcome guests. Let me remind you that this was Simran's second speech, not a 10th speech, lest you think that way. Every speech must have a purpose, and Simran's speech purpose was to persuade, that was a general purpose, and the specific purpose was to enable the audience to live in the present. And let us look at various structuring of the speech as to how it was accomplished. Simran had a question at the very start that drew our attention because it was a question that was very timely. It was a question about resolutions of the new year. And soon she started a story, something that was very tragic in nature. And to describe such a story, you need a great speaker. And she had elements of all great speakers because she tipped her voice when it was needed. She had long pauses when it was needed. For a second time speaker to have long pause is extremely difficult. Kudos for that. Then the hand gestures were simply appropriate. You usually tend to watch other Toastmasters videos and jump around. Not at all. The hand gestures were simply appropriate. You don't have to do anything more, nothing less. And to a large extent, all the entire structure of the content was extremely well structured, and simple and vivid words were used, so we all could understand, at least I could really understand very easily. Now, having said that, let me now look at what Simran could have done by correcting a few blemishes. I wouldn't even say anything to correct as such, but a few blemishes. Eye contact. When making extremely tragic movements, which was to a great extent present, you were looking on the floor. Even if it is intentional, do not look on the floor. If you have difficulty in talking about a tragic moment, look at a person whom you are close with. Put your eye contact directly on one person. All right? This on one side of the audience and the other side. Never look down. And the conclusion I thought was two-pronged. One was that you had a three-point formula to build up something and then a message at the end. That created slight confusion in me as to what should I be taking away from this. How do I implement it? So if you can make it more specific, that would have been good. In all, Simran, you grabbed the attention. You aroused the interest, you created the desire in the story. Perhaps next time you can lead us to an action at the end of your speech.
Thank you, Vivek. And Simran, you were telling me before your speech that you are going to talk about something very close to your heart and emotional. And I was wondering how, as an initial speaker can take a subject like that, because if I have to talk something emotional, I cannot speak. That was a great challenge you took. Great, I would say you were fighting with yourself on the stage here, not only the fear of speaking in public, but fighting with your emotions and giving that message. I thought that was a great effort you did. For that, my pronounce you all the best, and you will do well going forward. Next was Sujata Sanam speaking on CC4, how to say it, and she's being evaluated by Toastmaster Abhay Kodari.
General evaluator, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Believe what you become, and Madam Sujata, I believe that you have the makings of a speaker par excellence. The way in which you started your speech with a quote, that got me hooked onto your speech. And the way you said your story with pauses, that was the highlight of your speech. The sentences that Toastmaster Sujata used today were very simple, very clear, and there were no jargon. This is what exactly the speech calls for. No two words mean no one word meaning two things. Use simple, clear words to make sentences. She did that excellently well. Congratulations for that. The purpose of your speech, I believe, was to inspire people about learning at any age, which is an absolutely fantastic thought. However, here are some examples where the value of your speech could be enhanced using a few triads and similes which were a bit few in number. You said, I am a banker. My job is to interact with people. If I were you, I would have said, my job is of a banker and it is like a footballer. The job of a banker is like that of a footballer. I have to interact and deal with all sorts of people. Then you could have had a simile. Couple of places you describe your fear of public speaking with the words avoid and hide. I would have done this. I wanted to avoid, hide, and run away. So this makes an interesting triad. My goal was clear. Simply put, my goal was as clear as crystal. And now coming to the transition to the conclusion of your speech. The old age excuse is not true. And then you mentioned the word to conclude. Simply you could have said, our interest may wane. After you said, the old age excuse is not true, our interest may wane. This could have brought the seamless transition between the body of the speech and the conclusion. Having said that, Sujata, I think that your speech was really excellent. The way in which you said your story was very nice, and I hope to hear more from you. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Abhay. And adding to what Abhay said, Sujata, you have a flair for humor. Your speech always elicits humor amongst the audience. That is one thing I have noticed. And going by the group messages, I had also seen that you had presented in front of the big senior officials of the bank. Probably if you incorporated that in the speech, that would have brought credence into what you're saying. You know, that is one small point you can always note down. Next speaker was Sri Harsha, speaking on Lumbago, Chinese style, right? And he is being evaluated by Toastmaster Soumya Ram.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and Sri Harsha in particular. Kudos for a very relevant topic that all of us here can connect with. Your speech was humorous and informative. You had clarity with the spoken language. You had very clear, simple and short sentences. The vocal variety, you used tone, speed and volume in certain places. You had pause to emphasize your points, and a couple of times you repeated your points to make a greater impact. You used eye contact to judge the audience reaction, and you paused when needed. With physical gestures, you used your hands fairly regularly, and from the feedback that you had received previously, it was mentioned that you had to avoid clenching your palms, which you did a couple of times, but maybe you realized it and unclenched your palms later. You were fully aware of the audience and how they were responding to your presentation. You were comfortable on stage, and you engaged with the audience, and your content was well structured. You had humor peppered throughout your speech. You used medical vocabulary like you owned it, and for a minute, and I'm sure some of them here, would have mistaken you to be a doctor. And thank you for the tips about walking and swimming. If I may suggest a few things to take your speech to the next level, the first one would be, please do not stand here and begin your speech by telling the audience that you are nervous, which you did. You could have started with a smile or with a quote or a question. The second one, please ensure that you prepare, practice with a timer to make sure that you stick to the stipulated time frame. And like Deepika said, we can all achieve great things if we step out of our comfort zone. Please leave this single spot on the stage and own the stage when you are on top of it. And I look forward to your next speeches.
Simran and Sri Harsha, please note, you need to take the evaluation points, and then when you give the next speech, you have to incorporate it and then give the speech. Sri Harsha, also one of the best things I noticed about Sri Harsha, where is he? Yeah, you were speaking and audience were in laughter, but you are not laughing. You're not even a smile. That is the greatest strength for a speaker, when he speaks so seriously, but he knows audience is going to smile. I think we need to learn from that quality of yours. Well done. I think you'll do a great job going ahead. Going forward, the next speaker was Toastmaster Deepika Das Pereira, giving her CC10. And she is being evaluated by this evaluator, who actually I look forward to as a mirror of Toastmasters Club, because sitting there, I look at this evaluator and see what his reactions are to each speaker. In fact, when Punit was speaking, he was trying to look like this. So I think okay, he's trying to understand. And some other speaker, he was laughing. And so I know he is a mirror of all the audience here. I request Toastmaster Vijayanand to come on here and give his evaluation.
A leader inspires people to improve. The general manager of fellow Toastmasters and guests, I think that's what, Deepika, you did fantastically well. Your foundational phrase, goal statement or thesis statement was, great things happen when you step out of your comfort zone. And lady, I thought you did a brilliant job inspiring us. More than half a dozen times you told us that, which is fantastic. Second strong point, inspiration speeches, how you say. One of the principles is stories. You had 2 stories, but when you won gold, the sporting event, and you became a CEO at the young age of 28. Well done. Now, having said that, inspiration speeches rely heavily on the emotional appeal. I thought we missed a trick or two. Sample emotional appeal. Friends, just imagine if you didn't step out of your comfort zone. You were on your deathbed, tears in your eyes, and you wonder, oh my God, I wish I stepped out of my comfort zone. Vivid words. There were men in the school, I'm 5'3", they were about 6'3", 6'4", 1 foot more than me. 2 biceps of mine was 1 bicep of them. Their shoulders, 2 times width of my shoulders. And I beat all of them. Describe to them. You had vocabulary, the pause important in the scheme of things. The king asked the farmer, how did you make the second falcon fly? The farmer said, I got the branch. Sample this with the pause. The king asked someone, how did you make the falcon fly? The farmer replied, I cut the branch. Because the branch is synonymous of us stepping out of comfort zone. Another pause. There were 15 people there in the sporting event. It was so challenging, and you said it was the only girl. Nah, no effect. There was 15 people there. It was most challenging because I was the only girl. Because that stepped out of comfort zone. 3 important points to structure inspirational speech. You did the first of 3, Deepika. Connect with your audience feelings. You use the term we language, pause language. We all have branches we sit on. Well done. The second and third step I thought we didn't do. Second step, you got to tell the audience why the current feelings will not serve them. If I were in your place. Now, friends, we're all sitting on the branch, not stepping in the comfort zone. It's not going to do any good. We can't achieve goals. We can't realize our full potential. We're going to be lethargic. It won't serve us well. Third step, inspire them to change. That is, talk about the benefits when they change. When you step out of the comfort zone, you can increase your bank balance. You want to buy your dream home, the dream car, bachelors, your dream girl, whatever it is, you can. Only there when you step out of your comfort zone. Mention the benefits and people are inspired to change. Having said that, Deepika, when you speak in any presentation, the 3 V's, verbal, vocal, visual, any presentation is important, but more so in inspirational speeches. Your verbal component, the words, vocal, tone of voice, you had it, and the visuals, all there, fantastic. And the prop, it had the elements totally glued to your speech. Before I sign off, I must say the 3 V's for you, lady. You are the vivacious, the versatile, and victorious Deepika Pereira Das, who is now the latest competent communicator club. Kudos, well done, back to the team.
Thank you, Vijay. Adding to what Vijay said, 2 points I want to talk about here. One is to talk about your mom in front of her is very difficult, at least for me. If I have somebody and if I talk about them and emotionally talk about it, it's difficult, but you did a good job talking about certain things, the kind of support what she has given. Having said that, when you're inspiring the audience is looking for what you have done. What is the comfort zone you have come on? Now here, later in the story, you are clubbing your moms, coming out of the comfort zone and how it's helping you. Now that, to me, brings down the essence of your speech, the power of your speech, because people are looking for inspiration from you, not from anybody else. And that when you talk about, this is what happened to me, this is what, despite this is what I went, that has a more relevance. Yes, there is facts involved, but in a speech, when you're talking about, give importance to that part, for if you want the audience to focus on that. But your body language, as I said, I need not dwell upon that. For that wonderful job, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do? What do we give the? And next was our table topic master, Shravan. Shravan was testing the limits of all the members because he had taken topics which members were not comfortable or not identifying or not experienced, but I should say kudos to all the members. Not only they were saying, I have not experienced, but they went on to talk about that topic. All of them, most of them. That is well done. You took the theme and belted out the topics, one after the other. Shortage of time, you had to restrict. But for that wonderful first time you are doing this table topic master, for that job, my tag team, I request the tag team to stand up there and give your feedback. First, timekeeper, Adarsh Gangwal.
The meeting started on time. And our sergeant at arms took 5 minutes 54 seconds. President took 7 minutes 42 seconds. Our beloved Santa took 18 minutes 35 seconds. In the prepared speeches, only Sri Harsha exceeded the time. In table topics, only Toastmaster Ayyappa exceeded the time. And in the evaluation session, Toastmaster Vijay and Toastmaster Vijay Anand exceeded the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Adarsh. Toastmaster Ajit Chandrasekhar for our company.
Founder, President Melvin, short pause is one. Toastmaster of the day, I found 2 crutch words. General evaluator Nitin, there are like 10 crutch words, you know and up. The first speaker Simran, I found 1 long pause and 1 short pause. Sujata Sanam, speaker 2, 1 crutch word and 3 small pauses. Then Sri Harshad, speaker 3, there were 4 crutch words, but you know and speaker 4, Deepika Das, I did not find any. Toastmaster, tabletop speaker Shravan, I found 3 crutch words. Then Satvik, I found 4 crutch words. And Rahul, there were like 4. Zareen, 10 crutch words. And Dikshita, I found 4 crutch words. Dinakar, I found like 10 crutch words. Then evaluators, I did not find it. Thank you so much.
So it was Deepika. Dinakaran. Who was the
Dinakaran.
last word?
Tilakar.
Tilakar. Okay, thank you, Ajit. Give a big round of applause. Now coming to grammarian report by Toastmaster Jainam Khakra.
The word of the day thought. It was used by President Melvin Smith once, by table topic master Shravan twice, and by general evaluator Nitin once. Some of the great usages of grammar in this meeting were like some very good alliterations like vivacious, versatile and victorious, wizard with words, soft sobbing, supersonic secretary, demeaned, dejected and demotivated, chauvinist centric, and other good usages of words like other good usages of grammar light in the similes such as roll like a lion and as clear as crystal, banker like a footballer. Some of the not so good usages of grammar were children's, it should be children, will be differ should just be will differ, kills you body should be kills your body, cousin was suggested should be cousin suggested, one small holes become many holes should actually be one small hole become many holes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jainam. Give a big round of applause. The voting link has been given on the site. The code is 1122. The code is 1122. So you can go for voting. Now coming back to the Toastmaster Sumitra Manmohan. When I was trying to find out whose number it is, I could not get it. But she cannot keep away from the general evaluator. She has to call and get my introduction, right? So when she called me yesterday, that number was reflecting. I knew that Santa is closing now. I was 1122 is the
1122.
1122. And then when she called, I could recognize her voice immediately. And I was so happy that it was Sumitra, and I was glad to talk to her. And she did what a job today. I mean, she is the embodiment of enthusiasm in our club. Even last time, I remember she had dressed up and gave a speech on alien. She came like an alien. I think you are a model for all of us. And give her a big because of you, Sumitra, today has been a very special day, special meeting for all of us, a memorable meeting for all of us. Thank you very much. And with that note, I hand it over back to the Toastmaster today.